crazy controlled. They're missing each other by an inch, sliding each other. I mean, they know what they're doing, and it's poetry in motion.
There's a fine line between great focus and obsession, and you got to make sure that you're still in the right side of that line where it doesn't start inhibiting your performance when you get here.
You have to know where the edge is, and a lot of times we go over it.
After a nice long week to get things all rested up after a close and intense race at Lanier, everyone's all set to go from the world's fastest half mile in Volusia Speedway Park for tonight's action for the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars live on RaceSpotTV. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Davis Richard. And join us as well in the booth behind the scenes is Hugo Louise as we get all set to go for tonight's action presented by Dirtco Media House, along with Southern Indiana Lawn Care, the Kings of Dirt, CMF Motors Electriques, and Down Under Graphics with Sherman Forestry and B Dirt 1934. Tonight should be intense action, that's for sure, at the home of the Dirt Car Nationals here in Barberville, Florida, which has seen lots of intense action since it's opened its doors in 1968. Tonight, the best of the American Dirt Series will try and conquer this circuit, especially entering its 50th anniversary season here, Davis.
Yeah, it really will. We're going to see a lot of intense action tonight. These drivers, like you said, they've had a week to rest up. Some of these drivers have some things to think about what they did wrong, what they could have done, how they could have set up their cars to go even faster. And I think these drivers are going to be on edge tonight because we're at about the middle of the season and every position matters.
Every position matters, that's for sure. And the main reason, the point standings are starting to come into the big picture. As right now leading the point standings is Anthony Lopresto on top over Alex Bergeron. After Bergeron just finished with the top 5, right now it is 413 points for Lopresto, 384 for Alex Bergeron. Tim Smith rounds out your top 3 at the moment, just very close behind of Alex Bergeron. Robert Kurtzetter follows in 4th. So it's Chris Brenner, last week's race winner, rounding out the top 5. Michael Sheridan, Brad Speidel, David Heilman, Lewis Hewitt, and Max Stambrol rounds out your top 10 for the American Dirt Series Sprint Car Series standings.
Yeah, and the battle is really going to be heating up between Alex Bergeron and Tim Smith, with Tim Smith only being 12 points behind Alex in points. And we've seen Alex last night. Now, he came out with last week he came out with a top 5 finish, but he had to work and struggle for that top 5 finish. And then Tim Smith, he has been consistent week in and week out. If Alex Bergeron makes a mistake, this is Tim Smith's championship to win.
Yes, it is, that's for sure. As right now, a lot of action to be expected for sure tonight. What should we expect to see from the drivers as you see them working across the racetrack to prepare for tonight's event?
You know, I think we're going to see a lot of close battle action tonight. We're going to see that middle lane, about 1 lane above the bottom, come into play tonight. You can already see it really starting to slicken up. So I think that middle lane is really going to come into play, and these drivers have got to be really careful coming out of turn 2 with that outside wall, because if you're not careful, it'll jump out and it'll grab you, and you're not in a hurry.
Yeah, that is for sure. The session has been advanced. It's time for qualifying times. Everyone's going to work on their own for these qualifying times. Just for reference, there were 2 different practice sessions I kept my eyes on for today. The UDSRA team with their V2R Dirtco Media House machines. They had practice. They ranged in the 14.7s to 15.3s. While with the ADS official practice with the 65 degrees Fahrenheit track temp, exact same temperature, mind you, for today's events. They went from 14 flats to 15 threes once the track surfaces went out, as we have qualifying underway. Seeing Douglas Wyatt on your screen.
Yeah, right now you see Douglas Wyatt coming into turn 3 and 4, looking to get every bit of momentum he can on that track. He's going to come out of 4 and he's going to cross the line, and he is going to run a 14.868, which is going to put him in the 7th position.
Yeah, a lot of drivers, as you see, trying to put down the best times possible. Cole Newhoffen right now on top of the standings. Stephen Reynolds moving his way up to 2nd. A lot of drivers still peeling away on the track right now. Michael Sheridan, one of those drivers who are coming out. Robert Kurtzener currently coming around the track and putting himself to a stop. As you see the rest of the times bouncing around. Dakota Kuhn coming into the pits. Ernie Williams Jr. still running around for his 2nd lap. But there's still a lot of drivers getting ready to make attempts. Anthony Wilpresto, as you've seen, having a good run in the point standings. He just completed his 1st lap time to get up to the top 5.
He is running that 4th position right now. And then we're seeing him right now on your screen. He's in the 7th position. He's going to try to better that time. Wants to be able to get in the top 5. He just ran a 14.712. So, moving him up to about still the 7th position, so he's going to hope to better his time. Going to try to go out there again and see what he can do.
One of the drivers right now speeding around the track. You see Brad Spidle right now in his UWMU Motorsports machine. Alex Bergeron just completed his 1st lap to get on top of the charge with a 14.4, the 1st in that grouping for tonight.
It is, and you see Austin Carr with a 14.562, and he was your 3rd place finisher last week, so we know he has speed and we know he has the job, he has the car to get it done, but can he get it done tonight at Volusia?
Yeah, we're going to have to see who can get it done, that's for sure. Bergeron, of course, having the fastest time by a full 10th and a half, just about. There are still a few our drivers still coming around. Michael Rosendahl, one of those cars. As you see him on your screen, one of those UDSRA machines we're talking about. Of course, Dirtco Media House, one of the main sponsors of the American Dirt Series. They would want to see, that's for sure, one of their Dirtco Media House machines up near the front. As you see Rosendahl using the middle line, sliding up to the top, hitting the wall, in fact, after crossing the line. As that will not count for the 1st lap, I think, as he hit the wall right at the start and finish line. Let's see what he can do with the 2nd lap. He's going to keep it around the same line. Comes up, doesn't go near the wall this time. And it's a bit of a slower time, but that should just about settle things for qualifying.
Yeah, it should. And you see Alex Bergeron, I don't think he liked being in the back of that pack last week because he's completely obliterated the field, over a 10th faster in this qualifying time. And then we've got Timothy Smith in that 6th position with a 14.614. Still a decent fast time, still up near towards the top, but it's nowhere near Alex Bergeron. So these drivers are going to have to go back to the garage, make some tuning on their setup, and figure out what to do if they want to beat Alex Bergeron in that 112 machine tonight.
And what do you think those adjustments would be right now? Because these are some very quick times, but of course, as you said, Bergeron's by far the fastest. The rest of the cars, when looking at it, it goes from 2nd to 10th is separated by about maybe a 10th of a second. And the slowest times right now are in the 15 flats. A majority of the field, all the way to just outside the top 20, is all the way in the 14s still.
Yeah, being more of an oval guy, more of an oval setup guy, it's all in the shocks and in the springs with those cars, and it's got to be the same with these cars too. It's just either you figure out the setup and you know what to do, or you don't. And I think Alex Bergeron, he's got a good enough setup that he knows what he's doing and he's able to get that fast of a time. But like we've seen last week, anything can happen. We've seen drivers throughout this entire series, they've ran out of gas on the last lap. We've seen Fisher run out of gas last week after he led almost 49 laps. and it's just anything can happen with these races, so don't let that pick of a qualifying time off you and think that it's Alex Bergeron has got this thing sealed and done, because it's anyone's race tonight.
It's anyone's race, that's for sure, especially after we've seen the action last week where for just about the second race in a row, one of the main lead cars ended up having to either conserve fuel or ran out of fuel. But right now, it's time to see how your notes from qualifying and practice went, because it's time for heat number 1. David Fleck will start on the front row. Troy Wegeman Jr. will start in second. Tim Smith, Alex Bergeron round out your top 4 in heat number 1. Ernie Williams Jr., Scott Marr, Stephen Hill, in terms of Chad Gamsfelder also starting off in 8th. 9th spot, Michael Sheridan, who did not record a qualifying time. Of course, the top 4 are inverted for the heats.
Yeah, we've got Timothy Smith and Alex Bergeron in this first heat. So those are going to be 2 drivers that we're going to want to focus on tonight here, starting in the 3rd and the 4th position. So we're going to have to keep an eye on them and see what they can do. And it's a strong bet. If I was a betting man and I was in Vegas, I'd have to bet on those 2 and making the A main and finishing in those top positions.
Yeah, but first you have to make sure you're in the top 3 positions to advance yourself to the top 2 for each of the heats tonight. Of course, move on to the trophy dash, and then the feature has the 3rd place car moving on to lock themselves into the feature. Each heat race tonight will be 10 laps. Now, what do you expect to see in terms of the racing to start off the action tonight here in this heat? Do you stay on the bottom to start off this heat, or do you work your way on the high side, then work towards the bottom, for example?
Well, we're showing right now, and you can see it in turn 1 and 2. You can see that bottom line was it really hadn't started to slicken up. You can see that lane right above it is really starting to slicken up. So I think we're going to see a lot of drivers. They're going to start off going to that lower line into the corners, and they're going to make their way up to about that 2nd or 3rd line to try to get them as much momentum as they can on the exit. So it's going to be really interesting tonight, and you can't run it too high on those exits. Like I said before, you will hit that outside wall coming out of 2. I've been caught by it multiple times, and it's ruined my races multiple times.
And a lot of drivers, I don't think, want to ruin the races to start off in the heats and put themselves into a situation where they need to race through the D mains all the way up to the A mains. A full packed field for tonight's action here from Volusia. As everyone's all set to go, David Flick will lead them on the inside. And on the outside, it is Troy Wegeman as we are underway for heat number 1. David Flick immediately moves to the high side, and Troy Wegeman hits him in the back as he's going to go sideways and lose a ton of time. Bad luck for Troy Wegeman to start off as Alex Bergeron immediately dives to the bottom side and easily slides by to take the lead for the first lap.
I was so focused on that wreck right there, I didn't know where Alex Bergeron came from as he gains that first position. But then we seen Timothy Smith in that number 38 sitting in that 3rd position. Look at it, leaves that low line like we were talking about earlier. Doesn't decide to move up high on the exit. He's running that low line and gets that inside wall as long as he can. He's on the outside of the number 56 of David Flick, and they almost touch. They're in 3 and 4 right now.
And Timothy Smith had the fastest time in the ADS practice sessions tonight as he's going to try and slide hard on the bottom. And he's going to lose a ton of time, though, moving up to the high side. Immediately going right on by is David Flick. They're going to go for the cross as Timothy Smith rides already very close to the wall and able to move by, able to make the pass, makes the slide chop stick, and he moves his way into 2nd. As it's currently your top 4, Alex Bergeron, Timothy Smith, David Flick, and Scott Marr.
Yeah, we see that top 3 right there. The top 3 do advance. So Timothy Smith, that was a hard-fought challenge and battle for that 2nd place position. But they just got to be careful, got to keep running their line. Because like we said, the top 3 do advance, and they know that. And they're aware of that because the 4th place position, which is really heating up between the 999 of Scott Marr and the 127 of Stephen Hill, is they're side by side.
Side by side, no more. A car is around in turns 1 and 2, pulls onto the tow truck. But right now, Stephen Hill, that is Troy Wegeman Jr., who is going to have to race his way through the mains, was one of the top drivers in qualifying. Now, though, for Stephen Hill, he's trying to catch up to the rest of the group. Alex Bergeron, he has Timothy Smith, though, closing up just a few car lengths ahead. You see the back bumper of Alex Bergeron in the Victory Lane racing machine. Trying to watch was Timothy Smith, tries to get the run down the backstretch. Both of them sliding in hard on the bottom side as they go across the start and finish line. 1 lap to go here in heat number 1. Timothy Smith waiting to look for any run he can, trying to go as high as he can alongside the cushion. It's going to be not enough. Alex Bergeron wins heat number 1 to start off the night.
And did you see that run that Timothy Smith was able to get? He was able to gain about a second on Alex Bergeron as they're closing into that first heat. So if that's any indication of what we expect tonight, then it's going to be a thriller. And I'm telling you, fans, you want to stay tuned into this because Timothy Smith, he knows he's close in the points. He knows he's 12 points behind. And he's got to do every single thing he can to come out of here and come out ahead of Alex Bergeron if he has any chance of winning this championship at the end of the season.
And as you see on your screen, your top 3 to advance: Alex Bergeron, Timothy Smith, David Flick, Michael Sheridan finished on the bubble with Scott Marr in 5th, Ernie Williams Jr., Stephen Hill, Chad Garmsfelder, as well as Troy Wegeman Jr. to round out your field in heat number 1. And just like that, we're all set for heat number 2, as it's going to be Vince Romeo starting off in the front row, Dakota Kuhn starting off in 2nd, Kevin Loveys, and Austin M. Carr, one of those drivers to watch in the Dirtco Media House machine, with Douglas Wyatt, CJ LaVere, Brandon Steele, Scott Bellum, and Jason Minette right on behind them in the 9-car heat.
Yeah, and we're in for a thriller for another heat here tonight at Volusia. And man, I was really surprised there that Timothy Smith, he did choose to use that high line on that last lap. I think he was trying something, see what he could get away with, see what he couldn't too, because those drivers are going to be battling out in the A main. So they're trying every single thing they can, do a little bit of testing and tuning, see what they need to go back to the garage and what they need to work on and how they can make these cars even faster than what they're already going.
Yeah, we're going to have to see what they decide to do here. Of course, heat number 2 all set up. Going to be 2 pace laps around this circuit here at Volusia Speedway Park. Of course, this track has gone on a lot of different renovations and reconfigurations over the years. In fact, it was once a paved circuit from 1989 to 1997 at one point. So this 50-year-old track has seen a lot of history, especially with it being the main host of the Dirt Car Nationals.
Yeah, it has, and I did not know there used to be a paved circuit, so that's news to me too. That's pretty awesome that this track used to be paved, and we've seen a lot of these tracks used to be paved, and they turned them into dirt racing, because you can see a lot of the dirt track is really starting to pick up, and the dirt scene in real life is really starting to pick up, because I mean, what's not to love on these cars? Is they're awesome. They're side-by-side close action racing.
And it was a lot of intense action in this year's Dirt Car Nationals if you followed on with that. But right now, we're focusing on heat number 2. As we have the green flag, we are underway. Vince Romeo has a good start on the bottom side, trying to hold on to his position. As immediately trying to cut through 3 wide, almost 4 wide, as Austin Carr works his way through the middle, slides his way up onto the high side, and he's battling his way for second alongside with Vince Romeo. Dakota Kuhn able to move his way up front, but Austin Carr is there as they are 2 by 2 right up at the front. Austin Carr rides alongside the high line on the cushion, and he's going to take the lead, crossing the line on lap number 2. Can he make it stick here?
And he is taking no prisoners tonight as he is going all out to the wall, trying to get every single thing he can, coming from the 4th position and all the way up to the front. This Austin Carr, he is trying to gain momentum from his win last week and do every single, his 3rd place finish last week, and do everything he can to show, hey, I'm here to race and I'm here to win a championship.
This is when the championship picture definitely comes into focus here in the second half of the season. But right now, the Dirtco Media House machines are 1-2. Austin Carr, Dakota Kuhn, and both of them running fairly well. Austin Carr, though, he had the second fastest time in the practices. He's having a great run alongside the cushion on the higher grooves. Dakota Khan right now trying to keep second with Kevin Lovey's on the bubble spot. Vince Romeo, who started on the front row, trying to work all he can with the slide jobs, but he's losing more and more time trying to go from the bottom up to the top side for the exits.
Yeah, he is. As you've seen him go in the bottom in 1 and 2. There 3 and 4, you see him make a bobble, you see him mess up just a little. He went higher than he wanted to. Now he's going to go back to the middle lane in 1 and 2. It looks like he's just following and copying Lovey's move. So gonna have to see what he can do here tonight and see if he can gain any momentum.
On your screen right now, CJ Laver is sideways as he is stopped in the track. We are going to keep on going. Race Spot replay will quickly show this. Was right behind of Romeo as he just got bumped and just ends up going sideways. But let's go to the live action right now because Austin Carr is trying to hang his way around one more set of corners here at Volusia. He's going to slide his way and easily secure heat number 2. Dakota Kuhn is going to finish in second with Kevin Lovey's right on behind him in third spot. That is your top 3 to advance here in heat number 2 with Vince Romeo in 4th, Scott Bell in 5th, Douglas Wyatt in 6th, Brandon Steele in 7th, CJ Laver in 8th with Jason Minette in 9th.
You see those top 3 drivers are all Dirt Co Media sponsored sprint machines. So these drivers come here to compete, and they're doing one heck of a job out here tonight at Volusia.
Doing one heck of a night, that is for sure, for the UDSRA V2R Dirt Co Media House machines. Of course, Dirt Co Media House, along with Southern Indiana Lawn Care, are the official main sponsors of the American Dirt Series. Of course, Paul Belfour, meanwhile, he's trying to have a good run in heat number 3 for tonight's event for the American Dirt Series, as he's going to start alongside Derek Layden, Stephen Reynolds, and Cole Newhoffen will start off in the top 4. Corey Zelensky, along with Brad Spidel, David Diller, Josh Phillips, and Paul Berthwick will round out your 9-car field.
Yeah, and this is going to be another interesting heat with our 3rd heat of the night. And I'm just noticing something here. I don't see any of our Australians out here in the field.
I see an Australian-New Zealand driver in Vince Romeo to correct you on there, right there. So there is one to correct you there, Davis. But still, very big field, regardless of that fact, of course, for tonight.
Yeah, I was mainly looking for the 666 of Lewis Hewitt, and I don't see him out here tonight, so don't know what happened there, but I hope everything's all right with him, and hopefully we'll see him next week out here.
Hopefully we do as well. Of course, we have a grand total in terms of heats of 5 heats for tonight's start of the American Dirt Series here at Volusia Speedway Park, as it will be Paul Belfour once again leading them along at the front for the start of heat number 3. He's going to have Derek Layden, who has had some strong runs on the outside. And everyone's trying to jump the start as we are underway here for heat number 3. Paul Belfour able to get to the bottom, but he's going to immediately get zoomed on by like a freight train by Stephen Reynolds alongside the cushion. He's going to actually get some separation, but there is Corey Sedlinski right on behind him as they are going side by side, battling for the transfer spot as Paul Belfour has on the inside of him a battle with Cole Newhoffen.
And you see Newhoffen just using every bit of momentum he can on that bottom line, getting everything he can out of it, and he does pass the 69 of Paul Belfour, and puts him in that 3rd position. So you can see him gunning and running, and we've got a battle for the lead right now.
And I was just about to get to that because Stephen Reynolds, he's going to have to fight hard to keep this lead. In fact, he's going to hit that dangerous wall in turn number 2. He's going to cross the track and hits the front and off the bottom wall. Stephen Reynolds is done here in heat number 3. Very disastrous situation for him, and that's going to open up the door for the battle of the lead for Setlinski alongside with Newhoff. We got another accident meanwhile down the backstretch. Belfour and Brad Spinal, both of them just hit the turn 2 wall. So both of them are out of contention for heat number 3, as Newhoff and Setlinski are still battling up at the front.
Heartbreakers going on around all around this track right here, but we have a battle with the lead with Corey Satinsky and the number 8 Cole Newhoffen battling for the lead right now. You see that number 24 machine using every bit he can. He's got about a 2 sprint car length advantage over the number 8. He's using that high side. As a lot earlier that I thought that high side would come into play here. You see him every single bit of it that he can.
And right now, Satinsky right now trying to run alongside the cushion through 3 and 4. You see on the bottom side as Newhoffen is currently working on the bottom groove. Heading to 2 laps to go here in this heat. Currently on the bubble slot now with all the craziness has been David Diller now, as he was able to move by Derek Layden as we come to the white flag here for this heat. Who is going to have the best run? Can Newhoffen use the bottom side to have a strong run? He's going to go all the way to the bottom near the wall. It's not going to be enough. It's going to be Corey Satinsky crossing the line and winning heat number 3. David Diller moves on in 3rd spot with Cole Newhoffen. Rounding out in 2nd. Just outside that, Derek Layden, Josh Phillips, Brad Spidel, Paul Belfour, Stephen Reynolds, and Paul Berthwick.
Heartbreaker there for a lot of those drivers. They started out in those top positions, got involved in some accidents, so we're going to be seeing them later tonight trying to compete for that A main bid, and it's going to be a thriller, I'll tell you that.
It's definitely going to be a thriller, but right now we still have 2 more heats plus the rest of the mains heading up to the trophy dash to go. Max Stambrow's currently on the front with Emil Miller, Robert Kurtzetter, along with Jamie Martin, Michael Rosendahl, Chad Miller, John Fowler, and John Winkler, are going to round out your 8-car heat for heat number 4. Who is the man to watch for you? Because Jamie Martin had very strong practices and a very strong qualifying tonight.
He did, and that's a driver we haven't talked about for a lot of this season, so he's going to be someone to watch, someone new to watch. But I'm really liking that number 27 of Robert Kurtzetter, starting that inside line in row number 2. I think he's going to bring the heat here. He's going to try to get every single bit of momentum he can on that start and try to bypass these 2 drivers on the front row.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting right now. You see them all getting set to go one more time around. If you are new to the American Dirt Series, the top 4 drivers are inverted for the heats. So basically, the car who qualifies the fastest set for the heat, he starts off 4th. Then, of course, the 4th slowest in terms of that heat, in terms of who they group into the heat, starts off on the pole. That today has been Max Stambrell, who has had a very strong season. He's going to be on the inside line in that orange and blue car alongside Emil Miller. Everyone's getting all set to go, all winded up. It's going to be interesting to see what can happen here. 10 more laps for this heat, as it's going to be heat number 4. Track conditions definitely have changed around. Max Stambrell drives right on by the pace truck, and he zooms off by for a gigantic start for heat number 4. He's off in the clear to start off. Robert Kurtzetter on the bottom side as he's going to get a nice slide right in front of Jamie Martin. A little bit bumping right on behind, but it's going to be easily the top 3 point away with John Fowler in 4.
Yeah, the number 5 machine's going to be lucky if those admin officials decide not to give him a black flag on that one, because that was a really early jump there. But hey, you got to take what you can. But right now, as you see him with about a 1.5 second lead.
And right now, Max Stambrell getting a very well run right now here. Lap number 4 this time by Robert Kurtzetter. He's battling though for 2nd. On the bottom side, going for the slide, Jamie Martin. They're going door to door. Martin gets right up in front of him as he's going to move towards the middle lane and right alongside the cushion. Get a good run. He secures himself up into 2nd, as that backstretch is definitely one of the better places to set up a pass into 3 and 4 today.
It is. is a very good place to set up a pass right there. You see that number 15 machine of Jamie Martin. He got around the number 27 of Robert Kurtzetter, and he has got his eyes on the leader with about 4 laps to go here, and I think he might catch him before this thing is over with.
Potentially, because right now we're coming to lap number 7. Jamie Martin, he's getting a strong run here, going from the middle up towards the high side, and he is right on the doorstep of Max Dembrol. Max Dembrol is going to ride alongside the cushion, but right alongside the bottom, Jamie Martin, he's going to dive it right to the bottom side again, as he's going to get a great run down the backstretch, and he's going to try and set this one up, coming to 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go, and you see him getting every single bit of momentum he can. Uses the high side in 1 and 2, trying to get the exit. He's not going to gain any time there, but we're going to have to see if he makes a different line move going into the 3 and 4. Chooses to go high again, as you see the number 5 machine of Max Dembrol using a lower line.
And Martin now trying to use the lower line this time, as the white flag is out for heat number 4. Can Dembrol hold on? And he's going to move towards the middle onto the bottom. He has a bobble, but it's not enough time for Jamie Martin, as Max Dembrol wins heat number 4 with Jamie Martin and Robert Kurtzetter rounding out your top 3 to advance, with Michael Rosendahl just outside the top 3 in 4th. Chad Miller, John Fowler, Emil Miller, and John Winkler round out your 8-car field for heat number 8 here in Barberville.
So Justin, knowing that these drivers, knowing that they invert 4 and that they're going to invert 8 for that dash, do you kind of use that to your favor, knowing that information in advance? Do you try to lay off in these races and in these heats and on your qualifying time, knowing that they invert to try to get a better position?
Part of me wants to say no, because right now, let me put it this way. The drivers with the top times, we've seen this all day long here, Davis, have been the ones that immediately have been able to shoot up and get towards the front. That time, Max Dembrol, he had a pretty quick car in practice from what I've seen from what he had. He just, on the practices, he had it set up for this kind of a track surface in terms of fairly used up already. That was to his advantage on the front row, I think, compared to some of the drivers who might have started the practice and set it up for a bit more of a slicker, a bit more of a slight lesser usage track where it was easier to get some grip. That time we see that with Max Dembrol. This time we're going to see what happens with John Lopresto on the front row with Larry Moody, Anthony Lopresto, and Dylan Settleman in 4th spot. Colin Wisely, Terry Rennert, the alien to some, Jason Newgard, and Blake Dirtflaner round out your field for the final heat. So a lot can definitely happen here. As I was just trying to say, sometimes it comes down to track conditions here, Davis. Sometimes it takes talent to move your way through the field. We'll see what happens with Dylan this time.
Yeah, we will have to see here, but I'll tell you one guy that has a bit of a fan club going on in the chats, and that's Terry Rennert. He's got about 3 or 4 fans rooting for him in the chat, so he's going to be someone we're going to have to focus on here tonight to see if he can get the job done and advance to that A main.
Gonna have to see, that's for sure. You see him with his machine, the Angry Dolphin Motorsports car, saying do work. With him starting in 6th for the final heat, he'll have to do work to get up into the top 3 to make sure he's locked in automatically for the A main and or the trophy dash. Of course, to remind you, the trophy dash, you have to be in the top 2. For the main feature race, you have to be in the top 3. That trophy dash being 12 laps tonight. But of course, it's time to get underway in just a moment here for heat number 5, the final heat. John Lopresto and Larry Moody lead them off on the front row. As we are underway for heat number 5, Larry Moody gets a bit of a late start, and taking advantage immediately is Anthony Lopresto, to the point where he goes sideways and almost goes around, able to save it, as Dylan Settleman will ride right up the top, right on top of the cushion, and go door to door, tire to tire, down the front straightaway, as he's able to fight along still. Anthony Lopresto moves to the high side, and immediately with the crossover with the slide on the bottom side, Dylan Settleman moves into 3rd. Door to door now. Larry Moody's trying to get a pass on John Lopresto. A ton of action up in the front going 2 by 2, 3 wide now out of turn number 2. As it's going to be Dylan Settleman working his way and cutting his way through the needle to slide job his way up to the front. But John Lopresto gets the better exit. Dylan Settleman, and we got a crash. It's going to be John Lopresto going around two other drivers, going around. That is Larry Moody and Terry Rennert also involved.
You see Terry Rennert going around two. He had a bad start to that, got loose in 3 and 4, and then as you see the replay right now, you see those drivers in that Dirtco Media House sprint car machine just gets loose, gets a little contact with another driver, goes to the outside wall, bounces off another driver, and then you see Terry Rennert in that O2 machine just takes a wild ride in that sprint car machine.
A wild ride that definitely changes things up here in heat number 5. Dylan Settleman is up at the front and almost goes around as Anthony Lopresto again tries to do the slide job out of the turn. And on the bubble spot just behind them, you just seen that is still a battle potentially forming up between Colin Wisely and Jason Newgard. This is getting very intense here with 3 laps to go.
It is indeed, and that's that final transfer spot to the A main. As you see that number 22 machine of Jason Newgard using that bottom line in the corner, doing everything he can to get around that number 1 machine of Colin Wisely.
We're going to stick to this battle right here because this is who moves on to the A main automatically. Colin Wisely trying to use the high line on the bottom side. It's Jason Newgard. He's going to go very close to the pit wall. Doesn't get a good slide. 1 lap to go. Right now, Dylan Settleman and Anthony Lopresto are already locked into the top 2. But this is your battle to go into the top 3 to advance. Colin Wisely still slides on the high side right alongside the cushion. Can he on? Jason Newgard tries to go for a good slide. And Jason Newgard finishes off in 4.
What a battle right there. As you see those drivers right there battling with everything they can, trying to get to that A main, and what a battle we had to the end of that heat. And unlucky break there for the fan favorite of Terry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, pardon me for cutting off there for trying to get the name Terry Rennert, of course, coming away in 7th. After all said and done, Larry Moody, John Lopresto along in 6th and 5th. Of course, advancing Dylan Settleman, Anthony Lopresto, Colin Wisely, in a big-time move from Jason Newgard. Almost got him into the 3rd spot to advance, but in the end, you see the time difference. Just couldn't keep it straight enough and ends up finishing in 4th. We're already getting all set, though, on the racetrack for the next part of our features tonight. It's the C main. It's going to be an 8-lap feature featuring 15 cars. Remember, the top 4 will advance to the B main. Emil Miller, Larry Moody, Stephen Hill, Brandon Steele, Paul Belfort, John Fowler, Terry Rennert, Chad Gamsfelder, CJ LaVere, Stephen Rennert, pardon me, John Winkler, Brandon Blake Durfliner, Troy Wegeman Jr., Jason Minot, and Paul Berthwick. Round out your 15-car field. Just a reminder, 2 of those drivers, of course, are in race control tonight. After what we've seen with the heats, what do you expect to see for the C main?
Well, what I was watching, I see some drivers laying off on the starts, and some drivers just absolutely going for it and sending it. And I think what I've seen, if you send it on the starts, you're in a better position and you have better luck of missing those initial contacts and getting into a better position to making that A main. So I think these drivers at the end of the field, they've got to go for it, and they've got to do everything they can to get what they can at the start of these races, because once you get back there, it just looks like it's so hard, and these machines are so evenly matched that it's hard to make up a big difference in time.
Yeah, that is for sure right now, as this is going to set things up going down the backstretch. Quick thoughts on who's your favorite?
You know, got to go with the fan favorite out there tonight, Terry Renner in that machine. Had a bad luck in that last heat we just saw, but he's going to be starting up there in about the 6th or 7th position. So I believe he is going to have what it takes to make it through the field and get to that A main. And we're on the green flag.
And some drivers already trying to make it through the field, and we got cars around down the front stretch, including your favorite and Terry Renner as he stopped. And he is already done. The pace truck is already pulling back out, I believe, as my goodness, an eventful start to this one. The pace truck did not pull out. We're staying green. Pardon me on that one. We have an 8-lap heat, of course. A lot of craziness, shuffling things up. Right now, it's Emil Miller up at the front. After that, Larry Moody in second. Brendan Steele in third. Trying to hang on to fourth now as John Fowler and Stephen Reynolds both cut their way up. Stephen Reynolds able to move his way up into third. Within fourth spot, John Fowler now. Multiple drivers trying to go for it, though. Stephen Hill, one of those drivers, and he's going to slide his way on the bottom, try and go for the slide job, and takes 2 positions. No, make it 1 in one corner, but they are still 3 wide.
They are. Their 3 wide action. That is the transfer spot right there, and these drivers notice they're giving everything they can. John Fowler, that number 15.
Hold on 1 second. Pardon me for cutting you off. Brandon Steele just went flipping around in the middle of that pack and flipped up and over. He is done now. As things are shifting up at the front side. Right now, you're going to see a race spot replay. I believe you see him up into the air. Bad luck for him. But right now, we are going back to live because this was 3 wide as the replay was just going up. This was right behind where the leaders are right now. And we got more contact.
That's John Fowler and Stephen Mill. That's another driver in that 4th position. They get contacted and they will not transfer for tonight. And you have 3 wide action for the lead.
And right now, not a lot of chances to breathe. That's for sure right now. As they go down the backstretch, it is lap number 8 in this heat. Trying to set things up. This is coming to the final lap around. Checkered flag. Stephen Renner comes along across the line. Larry Moody and Emil Miller were side by side for 2nd and 3rd. Who moves on? It is Stephen Hill in the final advancing spot for the B main. Paul Belfour, Chad Gammertsfelder with Troy Wegeman Jr., John Wakewer, John Fowler, and Brandon Steele, who went up and into the air, rounding out your top 10. My goodness, that was an absolutely wild finish to this heat.
It was, Justin, and that was a crazy finish that we just seen right there. And y'all are going to have to give me a minute because I just got to keep my breath. There was so much action and battling going on from the top 3, fighting for that 1st position to that 4th and final transfer spot. And wow.
I don't know what else to really say after that, but they have to calm down themselves. They got the B main to now focus on. This is 10 laps here, pardon me, with 9 laps to set up for the top 9, I should say, to advance. Michael Sheridan, Vince Romeo will start on the front row. Derek Layden, Michael Rosendahl, Jason Newgard, Scott Marr, Scott Bellum, Josh Phillips, Chad Miller, John Lopresto, Ernie Williams Jr., Douglas Wyatt, Brad Spidel, Stephen Renard, along with Emil Miller, rounding out your field. After what we just seen in the C main, who's your favorite, and what is the main strategy to make sure what you just seen in the C main doesn't end up being your result in the B main?
You know, I'm not going to pick a favorite for this heat race because I just gave the broadcaster curse to Renard right there. I apologize for that. That broadcaster's curse, it'll get you sometimes. But these drivers right here, they're going to have to battle hard, and they're going to have to battle fast because there's going to be action all over this track here tonight at Volusia. But another driver to look at is Anthony Lopresto. He's in uncharted territory. We see him in the A main fighting for the lead for most of these races, and right now he's just fighting for his life to make it into that A main tonight.
We're going to have to see who gets the best runs possible. Tonight's sponsors, just to remind you, here for the American Dirt Series, our Dirtco Media House alongside with Southern Indiana Lawn Care, the Kings of Dirt, CMF, Motiers Electrics, Down Under Graphics, Shamil Forestry, and B Dirt 1934. And of course, things are getting all set to go. You see everyone getting prepared as right now there may be something going on here, but right now we're gonna go, and we are underway here for B main action as Vince Romeo has to slip on by. Michael Sheridan on the high side to start off this run. Derek Layden, he's going to go all the way to the bottom. Can he make the slide job work? Up towards the cushion? No, he cannot, as Michael Sheridan leads the first lap of the B main.
And there's 3 wide, and there's just a big hornet's nest in the back of the field, fighting for that 9th and final transfer spot. You see one driver getting loose, getting contact with another driver. They're going to keep going on here. 4 wide, there's one driver around on the outside. There's another one hitting the outside wall in 3 and 4.
That is Ernie Williams Jr. and Douglas Wyatt. Both of them have been damaged, significant damage for Wyatt, as that's going to put him on back. You're seeing the rest of the action across the field. This is up at the front now. You're seeing with Vince Romeo trying to hang on to 3rd spot. He's got someone coming in, Jason Newgard. He was very close to punching his ticket to the A main in his heat, finishing 4th by just behind by about 0.2 of a second. He's going to try and do the same line to try and get a proper one to get a higher spot. Right now in 5th, Michael Rosendahl is able to move by, and Jason Newgard's around. Jason Newgard is around, stopped in the middle of the track. Along with him is Josh Phillips. And Newgard is done for the B main. Josh Phillips is slow. Things are definitely shifting around here, coming to 5 to go.
Newgard is not going to make the A main tonight. What a heartbreaker. You had a fast machine out tonight, but I'm telling you, the spot to watch is that transfer spot at the back of the field. It's right behind John Lepresto with Brad Spindle and Stephen Hill fighting for their lives and doing everything they can to make that 8th and final spot. I'm sorry, that 9th and final spot to make it into the A main tonight, as they're doubled wide and they're 2 by 2 stacked up coming across the start and finish line with 2 to go.
2 to go, that's for sure. Brad Spindle right now trying to hold on to the bottom side. John Lepresto on the high side. It is Brad Spindle on the transfer bubble as he is riding along the bottom. A car that was on the outside of him was around with Stephen Hill, and that's going to open up the door potentially for some drivers with 2 laps to go. We're going to see that replay because Stephen Hill, he just ran up into the wall. His chances of advancing to the A main are done, but the white flag is out. The dash to advance is on. Brad Spindle's trying to hang on, just has to make no mistakes as he is good in the middle of the pack right now. Michael Sheridan dominates his way in the B main to win it, as it's going to be right on behind him, a cluster of cars. Vince Romeo in 3rd with Derek Layden in 4th. Michael Rosendahl right on behind him with Stephen Reynolds. Let's check out the unofficial race results. And you see right there, Sheridan, Romeo, Layden, Rosendahl, Stephen Reynolds, along with Chad Miller, Scott Bellum, John Lepresto, Brad Spindle, with Scott Marr just outside that bubble by about half a second. That is your top 10, and you'll see the rest of your field on your screen right now with the rest of your B main.
And we see Lepresto coming in that 8th position. He will make the A main tonight, just barely by the skin of his teeth. So he's going to have a lot of work to do in that A main, starting at the rear of the field. But we're about ready to start up that dash here in about 10 or so minutes.
And with that, it's time to go to a quick commercial break here for the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars here from Volusia Speedway Park. You're watching tonight's action here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be back in just a few minutes, live from Barberville, Florida. Live on RaceSpotTV.
the chair of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will it be Tim Hogan? It's going to be Christopher DeMary at the line.
Crazy controlled. They're missing each other by an inch, sliding each other. I mean, they know what they're doing, and it's poetry in motion.
There's a fine line between great focus and obsession, and you got to make sure that you're still in the right side of that line where it doesn't start inhibiting your performance when you get here.
You have to know where the edge is, and a lot of times we go over it.
Welcome back, everyone, to the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars, live from Volusia Speedway Park here on RaceSpotTV. As it has been an entertaining night so far after some good heat racing, as well as a very competitive C and B mains here for tonight's action. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Davis Richards with Hugo Ruiz in the backdrop here for what has been an entertaining race night, that is for sure. As tonight, we'd like to remind you once again, tonight's sponsors are Dirt Co Media House alongside with Southern Indiana Lawn Care, the Kings of Dirt, CMF, Latiers Electrics, Down Under Graphics, Show on Forestry, and B Dirt 1934. Now, Davis, what are your quick thoughts after what we've seen in both the heats and definitely in the mains, and how do you think that will translate to what we see in the Trophy Dash in the A main tonight?
You know, you just got to stay out of the hornet's nest because that's where we're seeing a lot of the action, a lot of the accidents take place tonight. And saying that, I think we're going to see a really hard-fought dash to get into those top positions in the A main because these drivers realize that and they want to be as high up as they can for the A main so they avoid these accidents and avoid that hornet's nest, if you'll say. And I think we're going to see a lot of hard-fought action and drivers, but still they got to be careful with that too because that's where we're seeing all the accidents and the wrecks.
Yeah, that is for sure right now. Want to keep yourself clean, especially in that hornet's nest, because you don't want to get stung by a hornet in the middle of the night here at tonight's race, that's for sure. But right now, we're getting prepared for the Trophy Dash in a few minutes' time. But right now, why don't we tell you what's going on with the Trophy Dash? Of course, tonight is 12 laps. The invert is 8. And with the front row being already set up with Cole Newhoffen and Dakota Kuhn, why don't we speak to Cole right now here for tonight's broadcast as he'll be starting on the inside of the front row here on RaceSpotTV. And now joining us in the booth now is Cole. Cole, how are you feeling about tonight with your car, especially in the front row for the Trophy Dash?
I got lucky in the invert. Hopefully I can just drive away.
How do you feel that it's handling with the way the track is tonight here at Volusia?
It feels good. My team VLR setup is pretty good.
So what kind of adjustments have you made as the race has gone on, as the night has gone on, I should say, to make to improve on the good setup, if you don't mind me asking?
Just all the basic stuff for when the track slits off.
And how do you feel the track has set off, so to speak, from what you've seen tonight in the different action you've been in?
I've watched all the other races and it's slicked off quite a bit. I think it'll be around the top towards the end of the race, though. We'll just see how it goes.
All right, it looks like somebody just wants to get all focused and set to go here for tonight's Trophy Dash. Is there anyone you'd like to, anything else you'd like to say before we let you get into the car?
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Sim Speed Shop, Team Friday, Dirt Division, and my team at teamvlr.com.
And that's somebody that's definitely focused, Cole Newhoffen, starting off the front row of the Trophy Dash. Thank you very much for the time.
No problem.
And that was a very focused driver, that is for sure. We're going to see now let Davis talk to your guy on the outside of the front row, Dakota Kuhn.
Hey Dakota, this is Davis Richards up here in the RaceSpotTV booth. Man, we were watching you battle it all night long. You're starting that outside line in the first row for this Trophy Dash. You think you got what it takes to get up there and fight with the best and come out of here with a front row starting spot in that A main?
Oh, we'll see. These guys are pretty good, and I got lucky there. I know Lovey's is a little bit faster than me, and he's my teammate, and I'm just happy making the dash. We'll just see what happens and take it a lap at a time.
And, you know, me and Justin, we were out here talking earlier tonight. With you drivers knowing how many drivers will invert before the races happen, does that play into the back of your mind? And do you kind of try to manipulate that out there on the racetrack? Or are you just going out there as hard as you can and trying to get to the front as fast as possible and get that first position?
I don't think I'm nowhere near as fast as guys are quick time. If them guys are doing it, good for them. I know I'm not good enough for it, so I'm just going as far as I can, trying to get to the front and see what happens from there.
We'll copy that there, buddy. So before we let you go here, any little quick setup, any little changes you might make here to the car without giving away your entire secret?
I'll just tighten up a little bit and just kind of take a guess with fuel. Just tighten up, see what happens, and just go from there.
Well, all right, Dakota. We'll be rooting for you up here in the RaceSpotTV booth, and best of luck to you out there tonight at Volusia.
All right, thank you.
was definitely definitely excited driver for tonight. Someone also having a fairly good night, Jamie Martin. He's going to be starting off near the back for the trophy dash, as he joins us now in the booth before we get on going. Jamie, how are you feeling about tonight's racing for how you have done so far?
I feel pretty good. Just trying to be just really relaxed, and and hopefully I can find my way to the front. It's my first time racing with these guys, so not really expecting a whole lot. Just happy to make the show.
I was going to say, welcome to the series. Now, with that, with one last quick question, what kind of adjustments and what kind of terms of car and driving adjustments do you plan to make to try and get yourself to the front to make a good impression here for the sprint cars?
I'm just gonna have to just keep an eye on the track after the dash. Just see what I have to do. I mean, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I don't really race the 360 a whole lot, so I'm just going to kind of rely on my teammates, Austin Carr and Kevin Levies and those guys, and kind of bounce ideas off of them for what I maybe need to do, but and the rest of the guys over there. So we'll just see what happens.
We'll see what happens indeed. Thank you very much for the quick time, Jamie.
Thank you.
That was Jamie Martin, of course. Now it's time to just about get all set to go for the trophy dash for tonight. What are your quick thoughts, and who do you place your bets on here for tonight, here, Davis?
We talked to a few drivers out there, and they really weren't wanting to give up their secrets to what adjustments they make. I think they're going to be making some really drastic adjustments out, seeing what they've seen there in those previous heat races. I'm not going to pick a favorite here again because we see how that turned out last time, but you just got to stay out of that hornet's nest, and really, I mean, you got to have speed. Don't get me wrong, you have to have a lot of speed and you have to have a lot of skill, but you also got to have some luck there and stay out of that hornet's nest so you can come out of there with a good finish for that A main.
Now they're getting all set to go to grid up for the trophy dash. You're seeing that in the backdrop. Everyone's going to organize themselves for tonight's event, as now let's run through your 10-car grid for tonight's trophy dash here from Barberville, Florida. It'll be Cole Newhoffen and Dakota Cohn on the front row for today's race. Tim Smith and Dylan Settleman will start off in row number 2. Max Stamble and Cody Zatinsky will be right behind them in row number 3, while Austin Carr and Alex Bergeron start in row number 4. Jamie Martin, in his first race in the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars, will start on the inside of row number 5, and starting shotgun is Anthony Lopresto.
So you're going to have to look there at Alex Bergeron. He's starting kind of deep in the field here tonight, so he's going to do everything he can, try to get up there, because we seen last week he doesn't like being stuck back in the field, but if he is stuck in the back of the field, he's able to make his way out to the front and able to salvage a good finish out of tonight.
We're going to see who can do exactly that, salvage a good finish. But first, it comes to the trophy dash, as we are underway for the trophy dash. 12 laps around the racetrack. Cole Newhoffen is on the bottom side. Dakota Cohn on the high side. To start things off, Dylan Settleman, he's right on the back bumper of some of those Dirt Media House machines, as he's trying to set up a good line. Right behind him is Tim Smith. They are 3 wide now in turns 1 and 2. Back to 2 wide as Dakota Cohn is able to pull away from the rest of the pack as Alex Bergeron tries to put his way into a hole. The hole closes and he slips his own way back to 6. He'll try and battle for that 6th spot still.
He is, and you see contact right there with Alex Bergeron on the wall. Going to take 2, 3, 4 drivers out into turn 3 and 4.
And that is multiple different drivers. Max Stembrell involved in the incident. Caution flag is out on the speedway. Some of the others involved. Jamie Martin in one of the Dirt Media House cars. Let's take a look at the replay, as Alex Bergeron got caught up, bumping tires on his right side, and a few different drivers, their trophy dash hopes are gone.
What a heartbreak right there. That's going to take a lot of good drivers out, most notably that number 112 machine of Alex Bergeron getting caught up in that accident as he's going down pit road right now.
And that was Corey Zatinsky he got caught up with down the backstretch. As you can see a bit of fourth wall breaking. Thank you very much, Hugo Ruiz, for that. as right now everyone on the RaceSpotTV crew is excited for what we've been seeing so far tonight in terms of action, that's for sure. Dakota Kuhn starting on, still in the front with Dylan Settleman going to be in second spot now. He's in a great prime spot for when we get restarted here.
He is. You see Dylan Settleman, that number 81 machine on that top line, just trying to get some dirt underneath them tires and sort of shaking it like a Polaroid up there, trying to do everything he can to get the most momentum he can on that top side to be able to pass that number 95 machine of Dakota.
Yeah, right now you can see all kinds of different drivers prepared here. We got 10 laps to go when we come to green, according to Race Control. Of course, just to remind everyone from the American Dirt Series fan base, the caution laps do not count for the trophy dash. But we are underway here once again with 10 laps to go. Dakota Kuhn up at the front. Dylan Settleman in second.
We see one driver in the wall. And they turned around in the wall into turn one.
That was Satinsky who went back around there. He was in fifth when we restarted. Bad luck for him. Dylan Settleman there. He had a bobble down the backstretch as he shuffles his way back a couple spots. He's stuck towards the start of the Hornet's Nest as Cole Newhoffen moves to second. Austin Carr up in fourth spot. Right behind him is Dylan Settleman with Tim Smith rounding up the top five with Max Stembrell now going to have to hold off Alex Bergeron on the high side as they both almost get into contact, almost four wide.
And Alex Bergeron's got to have some damage in that machine. You see him using that low line. You see that damage coming into play as he shoots up high. And you've got two drivers battling contact there. That's going to really hurt Alex Bergeron, and he's going to be in the back of the field.
Only a few more laps to go here in the trophy dash. Dakota Kuhn right now holding on to the front. Cole Newhoffen in the front as well. Dylan Settleman, he's in third spot as they zoom around the racetrack. Tim Smith, he's shifted his way to fourth with Austin Carr now trying to hold on to a top five spot, maybe get them even more so. As you see them running a very consistent line across the track. Cole Newhoffen, though, he's going to have to worry about Dylan Settleman right on the back bumper.
He is, as they're battling up and down. You see that number 81 machine try to pull off a slide job there. Doesn't pull it off to perfection. He's just going to be sitting in that third place position. He's going to try to hold on to every single thing, every single little bit of car he can, trying to get the most out of this trophy dash.
About 3 laps to go here in the trophy dash as Dakota Kuhn right now is pulling away from the rest of the group. Dylan Settleman's trying to move his way back into second with Cole Newhoffen on the high line or onside the cushion. And a very bad exit on the slide where Dylan Settleman couldn't make the line stick. And he is struggling big time now. And just like some of the driver's notes, the bottom side is going away as the top side heats as we are on the last lap as we come across the start and finish line. And with that, the exciting trophy dash is over. Dakota Kuhn ends up in victory lane for the trophy dash.
Whoa, the Dakota, we talked to him earlier tonight, and he's came out here winning that trophy dash. He is a force to be reckoned with tonight, but another driver, that number 81, Dylan Settleman, he was trying to use that lower line, just wasn't able to come into play. And it wasn't able to come into play there, and he lost a lot of positions. But right now, we're gonna get an interview with Dakota.
Yes, he is joining us in the booth right now, right from his race car. You see him right in front of Cole Newhoffen in the grid, that's for sure, as he came away with the victory for the trophy dash. Dakota, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
How are you feeling after coming out on top in the trophy dash and what was at one point a very close battle up at the front to start things off?
I don't really know. I'm kind of just gotta thank my team. I wasn't very confident in going out there in that, and they kind of calmed me down, calm my nerves down. So helps being up front with that stuff.
It definitely helps, that's for sure, because there was a lot of position battles out behind you. What were your thoughts on what you've seen going on behind you, and how do you feel that might be when it comes to the A main?
I didn't really see behind me. I have the mirror on just in case, but I don't look at it. I try not to. That just makes me all messed up, and I just do dumb stuff and just try to keep my eyes forward and keep going.
Speaking of keeping forward and looking forward and keeping going, how do you plan to keep up the strong run in the Trophy Dash in the feature race tonight? Do you plan to make adjustments, little last adjustments? What are you looking at, fuel, etc.?
Yeah, looking at a little bit of everything. Just kind of throw something at it and hopefully it works. Talk over to my guys. Dave Flick with UDSRA, he gives us good setups along with everybody else. Larry, Troy, Cody, Michael, Austin, Jamie. We all work pretty well together, and that's what we're going to do, just work together and get going.
Thank you very much for the time. We'll let you get prepared now for the feature race, as the rest of your teammates, I believe, they're zooming around the racetrack while you're finishing up this interview. Thank you very much.
Yep, thanks. I just got to thank Dirtco Media House for coming on board, and Virtual Reality and Tim Hunt Designs for giving us good-looking cars.
And that was your winner of the Trophy Dash, Dakota Kuhn, coming out on top, able to pull away after the caution and coming away after a good restart with 10 laps to go. As you heard, Dirtco Media House is one of your top sponsors for this season, and something to definitely watch for. Now, Davis, what are your quick thoughts here after what we've seen with the Trophy Dash once again, in terms of what do you think the drivers are definitely going to be adjusting here with what they've seen, especially with the track conditions?
Well, you know what? I think we're going to be seeing that top line come more into play tonight. We've seen it there in that Trophy Dash. Those drivers that are able to utilize that top line and get as much momentum as they can off of the corner, we're able to really show out here in the Trophy Dash. And look at Dakota Kuhn and Cole Newhoffen sitting in the front row for that A main. So we haven't talked a lot about those drivers all season long, but here they are getting really great finishes in that Trophy Dash and really setting themselves up for victory in the A main. And another driver we're going to have to watch here too is Alex Bergeron. He's going to be sitting in that fourth row. Again, in some uncharted territory, but we've seen last week he was able to come out with a top 5 finish. And as we got Howard Weaver up in the chat, you know, doing his thing out there, so I had to get a little laugh at that.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say with Howard, that's for sure. Definitely a character, so to speak. Definitely a character for the American Dirt Series. And right now, of course, Team VLR having a decent run themselves in the early goings of tonight, leading up to the feature race. Right now, you see them zooming around the racetrack. We're going to take a very quick commercial break, get some nice cups of water right now for Davis, and get you all tuned up. You're watching the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars live from Volusia Speedway Park. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Crazy control. They're missing each other by an inch, sliding each other. I mean, they know what they're doing, and it's poetry in motion.
There's a fine line between great focus and obsession, and you got to make sure that you're still in the right side of that line where it doesn't start inhibiting your performance when you get here.
You have to know where the edge is, and a lot of times we go over it.
Welcome back, everyone, to RaceSpotTV for more coverage of the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars, live from Volusia Speedway Park. It's time to bring that guitar solo and drum beat up to 11. It's time for the feature race in just a few moments here from Volusia Speedway Park. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me is Davis Richards. Hugo Ruiz is in the backdrop for tonight's coverage as we are getting all set to go. Before we get to your starting grid, one-time reminder for your sponsors, Dirtco Media House and Southern Indiana Lawn Care are the official main sponsors of the American Dirt Series, with Kings of Dirt, CMF, Motiers Electrics, Town Under Graphics, Shumo Forestry, and B Dirt 1934. With that, of course, it's time to get yourselves strapped in and buckled up. It's time for the A-Main starting grid. Here for tonight's action from Barberville, Florida. Dakota Kuhn will start on the front row after coming away with the Trophy Dash victory. Cole Newhoffen will start alongside him with Tim Smith and Austin Carr right behind them. Dylan Settleman had a strong run on the Trophy Dash, while Jamie Martin will look to rebound from his struggle in the Dash. Matthew Presto will start with Alex Bergeron. Max Stambro will start alongside Corey Latinsky. Outside the top 10, it's David Flick and Kevin Lovies with David Diller and Robert Kurtzetter. He's going to have a long way to work through. He starts in 14th. Colin Wisely starts with Michael Sheridan, Vince Romeo, Derek Layden, Michael Rosendahl, and Stephen Reynolds will still round out your top 20 here for this grid. And just outside that top 20, who have a long way to go, Chad Miller, Scott Bellum, John Lopresto, Brad Speidel, and Chris Brenner, last week's race winner. He's going to have an absolute long way to go in this one.
Yeah, he is. He's going to have a really long way to go here tonight, and he's going to have to go through that hornet's nest we've been talking about all night long. But if he can get out there and get through that hornet's nest and get a quick caution out, he has a chance here to win tonight.
That is for sure. Right now, you see them getting all lined up across the track. You see some of those drivers looking to move their way from the hornet's nest up to the front. Some of them have to go outside the hornet's nest and out all the way from the parking lot, so to speak. What is the strategy for the drivers, you think, for the drivers all the way outside the top 20 to catch up to guys like Dakota Kuhn tonight?
And, you know, we talked about you just got to get through that hornet's nest and just really take it easy, mind your own in the back of that field. You want to make your marks when you can. You know it's going to be 3-4 wide action in the back of that field. So being able to time that move right and get around them as quick as possible is going to be the key to get through that middle of that pack.
Yeah, that is for sure right now, especially since tonight there are 45 laps for this A-Main feature event. 65 degrees is the track temps, as we have a fairly used up track. But right now, one of the main drivers to focus on, who's going to be having to work through the middle of the pack, is Alex Bergeron. What do you do if you are Bergeron after having somewhat of a struggle in the Trophy Dash and somewhat of needing improvements for when you have the points definitely starting to count?
Well, he's just got to try to finish up ahead of Tim Smith, because that's going to be a battle for the championship, and I think that's going to be a battle to focus on tonight between those two drivers, because they're going to get around. They're more or less, they are going to end up around each other before this race is over, and these two are well aware that that points battle is that close, within 12 points actually. So it's gonna be something to watch. And if I was Alex, you just gotta, like I said, just gotta stay easy, make your move when you can, and just hope you don't end up with any damage.
We have about 4 more laps of pace laps to go before the green flag is to come out across the speedway. So why don't we show those championship standings if we can here to explain what to expect. We show this at the top of the broadcast, but Alex Bergeron is at the top of the points with 384. Thank you very much for iRacing for the first time we brought this up. But Timothy Smith is behind him with 372. 337 for Chris Brenner. Anthony Lopresto, Michael Sheridan round out your top 5. Robert Kurtzetter, he is the first driver under 300 points in 6th. David Heidelman, not in the field tonight in 7th. Lewis Hewitt, not on the field tonight. He's in 8th. Max Stambrel, he has a chance to leapfrog both of them potentially. He's in 9th. Brad Speidel will round out your top 10 in the championship points. With about 3 laps to go here, how do you keep up at the front if you're a driver like a Dakota Kuhn right now, or a Cole Newhoffen, or a Tim Smith?
Well, you just got to hold on. You got to Howard Weaver it around that track and do everything you can to keep those drivers back. And you definitely don't, I mean, you want to use your mirrors. A lot of these drivers, they really hate on using your mirrors in these cars. But if I'm in that lead pack, I'm going to be blocking as much as I can, stealing their line away from them, and trying to do everything I can to stay up in that first position.
Yeah, right now, this is going to be an absolute interesting way to try and keep at the front. We've seen how if you time out your restarts well, you can do so. You can keep out in the front and pull away. But now you have a bunch of fast drivers right now, 25 give or take right now, 25 exactly I should say, to worry about, especially with a bunch of Dirtco Media House teammates right now. You know, for Team UBSRA V2 Dirtco right on behind them. You heard some of the interviews about how they've been working together on this track. They were working together in practice as well before tonight's events. What do you expect to see from team to team basis is real quick?
Well, you know, dirt racing is really different than asphalt racing, so the really team aspect, yeah, sharing the setups and showing each other's lines, but once you get around each other and you're going around each other, I mean, you just got to go for it and do everything you can, and we got green flag action out tonight.
And talk about going forward. We're underway here for 45 laps for the feature as Dakota Kuhn gets that good start that he was looking for. Cole Newhoffen's 3 wide right now, and we got a quick caution, an absolute pile up down the backstretch. Multiple different drivers in the wall and upside down. One driver without even a front part of his HUD.
Or that race spot replay right here, and you're going to see it right here with the action in between the middle of the field. You see one driver gets a little up, gets a little contact. You see drivers flipping around. Absolute mayhem here. That's that number 57 machine.
Yeah, the number 57 machine. He's had a bit of bumps and bruises, Corey Satinsky. But right now, that is a bit of a ride. That is Max Stembro, who also went for a bit of a ride. There's a difference between the Hornet's Nest and an absolute hurricane. That time, that became a hurricane real quickly here on RaceSpotTV.
It did. It was more like a tornado out there. Did you see that driver go end over end? Just absolute crazy mayhem. And we talked about that Hornet's Nest earlier, and some drivers just know where they could go and just got caught up in it.
Yeah, right now, they're, as we were talking about, expecting the high line for sure to become more and more of an impact as the night goes on. We've seen the impact of it continuously growing here. When do you expect for that bottom side to really slicken up to where you start seeing drivers move towards that cushion as we come to one to go?
You know, I think we've pretty much almost gotten to that point of that low line really slicking it off. And I think if you're going to win this race, you're going to be riding on that cushion on that high side and trying to get all the momentum you can on the exit of that corner to get as much, I'm just going to say momentum 3 or 4 times here in this statement. But go down get that momentum, there I said it again, down the backstretch into 3 and 4.
And they come around turns 3 and 4 right now. Few drivers done for the day. Corey Satinsky, one of them. Restart as Dakota Kuhn gets the good restart. He's going to jump immediately to the high side. Tim Smith joins him. Austin Carr tries to get a good run. He's going to have to worry about potential 3 wide, and he's going to have to battle for third as it's Dylan Settleman trying to keep the bottom side working. Still slicking up, and we got trouble again down the front stretch. Multiple different drivers again flipping. Stephen Renner, Derek Layden, some of the drivers around. Corey Wisely bouncing off the wall. Scott Bellum was in the crowd.
And it looks like that all started with the 32 machine of Derek Layton as he comes off a tube, gets a little loose, and just comes up in to that machine on his high side. And unfortunate break for those drivers right there.
Unfortunate break. We'll see this replay once again. You see him bobbling down towards the front stretch, and then mayhem ensues. A few different drivers getting significant damage. Chad Miller has pulled it into the garage after that. A few different drivers. Their days are already done. We're still at 39 to go. You see Chad Miller again on your screen. He got bumped about twice over before he ended his day, bouncing off the outer guardrails.
Yeah, he did. Unfortunate set of circumstances for that driver. So again, there we see that hornet's nest just really biting some drivers. But another driver to watch here tonight is that 13 car of Austin Carr, sitting in that third position. He's showing a lot of speed here. If we can get going green here for a couple laps, I think he's gonna shoot his way up to the front. But look at Alex Bergeron sitting in the 6th position, made his way up through the field, and he's sitting pretty here tonight.
Sitting pretty indeed right now. You see him on the track, of course, having to start around the outside of one of the rows in row number 4. Pardon me, yes, row number 4. That was the 8 spots. He's already moved up 2 spots in about a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps of green flag action right now. They're getting all prepared, coming towards a single file restart this time to try and ensure a clean restart with what we've seen with the double files, as we have seen last caution, the bumpiness that was mentioned by Blake Durflinger coming up for sure in the front stretch. Right now, this time, it's time to try and get the best restart you can. Everyone going right along to the outside. And green flag is out. We're underway here once again from Volusia.
We are to Austin Carr in that number 13 machine, using that low line against the number 95 of Dakota Khan, getting everything he get. He's going to be able to make that line work, as he's going to pull off the slide job on the number 95 machine, sitting in the 2nd position, as he's going to go out. He's going to set his sights on the leader of the number 38 of Tim Smith.
And Tim Smith getting a great run now using the bottom side. Can he run where the slick is? He's below the slick, actually, through 3 and 4 to get a great exit. And he's going to move to the high side. Austin Carr right on behind him. Dakota Khan right now right on behind him too. 2 Durco Media House machines riding along the same line towards the middle to high side. Dylan Settleman right on behind them with, guess who? Alex Bergeron trying to close up, following the same line on the match principle along that cushion. And now going to change it up, going to the bottom side. He has to go through the slick for the exit of 4. Loses a bit of time, and he'll try and still make the slick work right here, as he's going to slide in, actually gain a little bit of time.
He is, Alex Bergeron, doing everything he can. Right now we've got some side-by-side action. You see a slide job there with the number 8 car of Cole Newhoffen, doing everything he can to get there. He's going to lose that position to the number 28 of Anthony Lepresto, and these drivers are going side-by-side and slide jobbing each other after every corner.
Yeah, all drivers taking advantage of any mistakes being given up. But right now, the battle at the lead has closed back up immediately. Tim Smith and Austin Carr are near bumper to bumper. We got a caution flag on the track. And we're going to see what caused this caution here. Brought to you by Southern Indiana Lawn Care. Yep, it was Vince Romeo flipping all along the bumpy front stretch, as that brings out your caution.
Yeah, you see Vince Romeo right there using that bottom line, just gets too much of it, gets in that slick stuff, really tightens up the car, and then he just hits that outside wall on the back stretch and almost sends him flipping around. But I don't believe any other cars were caught up in that wreck. So lucky break for them, but unlucky break there for Romeo.
Lucky break, that's for sure. We're coming to 28 laps to go here, as you see the pace truck leading them on down. Right now, I gotta ask this, because this has been a factor in the past 2-3 weeks now, where drivers have either had to go and conserve fuel or have run out of fuel on the closing laps of either the trophy dash or the feature race. What do you feel the strategy is right now for some of these drivers in terms of fuel to make sure they get to the finish and not have that happen to them this time?
Well, Justin, I think we're going to be good on fuel there. It's a great point you brought up too, because we've seen some of these races come down with drivers running out of fuel. But these other races, we haven't seen as many cautions. We've only seen maybe 1, 2, 3 at the max cautions. So this has been one of our most caution impacted races tonight. So I think these drivers are going to be good on fuel tonight, and I think you're going to see more and more start to use that top side, because with that top lane you can just really almost full throttle the car. With that bottom lane, when you go to run that bottom lane, you're letting off the throttle, so you're using less fuel. So I think we're going to see more drivers knowing that fuel isn't going to be a factor, using that top line to get every single momentum they can on the backstretch and front straightaway.
Definitely a good, important question to ask. That's why I felt I should ask that to you. Right now, of course, this restart is brought to you by Southern Indiana Lawn Care and Durco Media House. As we're underway once again back at Volusia, as Tim Smith gets a great start with Austin Carr still behind him. Austin Carr, in fact, gets a better start as he almost got along side by side down the backstretch. He's going to dig it in as much as he can, slides towards the cushion, and slides alongside near the cushion as they go along the front stretch. Single file, still 1-2. Is Dakota Kahn right now, right on behind them with Dylan Settleman behind. We got a caution flag out. Car stopped in the middle of the racetrack. In the bottom of turn 2, it's Kevin Loveys.
It is Kevin Loveys, and we're going to go to the race spot replay right here. You see that number 18 machine of Kevin Loveys using that bottom side. Gets up in the slick stuff, just really tightens up for him right there and makes contact with that car on his outside. Unfortunate circumstances there again, as you can see here again, getting every single bit of traction he can, just not enough, and gets into that number 91 machine. But Justin, what I'm noticing here tonight too is I've seen those 3 drivers running in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. That's the number 95 Dakota Kahn, 81 of Dylan Silverman, and the 12 of Alex Bergeron. They were using that top side, and they were gaining a lot of momentum and gaining a lot of traction on those front 2 drivers of Tim Smith and the 13 of Austin Carr.
Yeah, they were using a bit of a higher side, higher line, pardon me, along more with the cushion. I noticed during that run, that is for sure. Do you feel that's going to keep on working here on this restart if they can time it out perfectly and set it up for the next few laps to catch up to Tim Smith and Austin Carr?
Yeah, and you know what? I think it will too, because we're going to see a battle there for the lead between the 38 of Tim Smith and the 13 of Austin Carr. So once those drivers really start to get side by side and start to battle, that's going to let these drivers in the back gain a lot of momentum, gain a lot of speed, and it's going to be able to catch them right there to that rear wing of those cars and be able to set up a pass.
Right now, you can see at the back of the pack right now, round 14, Scott Bellum is on your screen. If you're him or someone near him, what are your chances of moving to the field to get up to the leaders?
No, I think your chances are pretty good here, you know. I mean, we've seen it before. If we can get about 10 or so green flag laps in, I think we're going to see those drivers in the back really start to make an impact in this race and start to become a factor. As you see that pace car, he's about to turn off into turn 3 and 4, and these drivers are about to go green.
That is a pace truck, and the pace truck is off the track because Tim Smith is off to the races, right to the cushion immediately as Austin Carr runs the bottom side. They're off to a good restart. Bit of a bottleneck right now for third as Dakota Kahn right now holds towards the middle line. Right alongside the cushion is Dylan Settleman with Alex Bergeron right behind him. They're going to battle now for third. This could become a 5-car battle for the lead as it is Carly Cohn right now in the middle of that group. Dylan Settleman riding right at the cushion. Very close to bouncing off the walls, and he has disappeared off the racetrack for a split second. He is back. He is focusing on trying to hang on and trying to move up into third. He does so.
And he's using some speed right there as you keep seeing him come on and off the racetrack there. See if he's able to hold on here to Alex Bergeron sitting in that 4th position, trying to do everything he can, try to get as much momentum.
Pardon me for cutting you off there, because right now one of those top drivers you've seen on your screen, he slipped back all the way outside the top 5, Tim Smith. He is absolutely struggling now a little bit, now moving all the way back to the field. What is going on with Tim Smith?
I'm not sure. You see, he must have got some damage out there. He's done everything. You see him on that outside wall. He almost hits it. Wow, I do not know what happened to his car there. I'm going to have to go back and check to see if I can find out what happened to him.
We'll get that update as soon as you can right now. But right now, the battle near the front leaves Austin Carr up alone. But that could change soon. Alex Bergeron slide jobs for the 2nd spot. Loses the 2nd spot but keeps third as Dylan Settleman takes advantage. Dakota Kahn right now trying to hold on to the bottom side. Jamie Martin in his first sprint race is right up there. Tim Smith's around. Caution flags out.
And yeah, Tim Smith, we've seen him struggling there, and I was able to find out what happened to him. On lap 32, he was headed into turn 1 and 2, and he got into that outside wall, and it just really messed up his car.
Yeah, you see him bounce off the inside wall in turn 1. So I think that damage you mentioned on lap 32 completely destroyed the handle enough to where he drove into that wall head on. But Dakota Con right now, he was up at the front for the last restart. He's now all the way back and forth with Austin Carr right now in first with Dylan Settlement and Alex Bergeron right behind him.
Yeah, and they call him Austin Race Car, and I can see because he's racing that car super good out there tonight with that lead. And another driver to watch, look at Jamie Martin in that number 15 machine, sitting in the 5th position. One of the new guys out here tonight, and he's really making a name for himself.
Yeah, when I seen him in practice, he was one of the drivers really impressing me, where he was basically at the top of the charts just about for much of the sessions as I was following through and seeing how the drivers were handling their lines and so forth. We're coming towards 1 to green just about here right now. So with 13, make it 12 laps to go, heading to 11 laps to go. Right now, how aggressive are you? Are you aggressive as a kitten? Are you aggressive as a rock band turned up to 11?
You know, I'm going to be out there and like a tiger out there just really going after the field and doing everything I can if I'm that number 81 machine of Dylan Sumlin and if I'm that number 95 of Dakota Con. But if I'm that number 12 machine of Alex Bergeron, we've seen Tim Smith have some damage and he was out of this race, so he's just got to hold on, and it's going to be a really point-state finish as we're about to be under green here.
Green flags out, a little bottleneck for the restart, but Austin Carr still stays out in front by Alex Bergeron. Goes for the slide job. He's battling for second and holds on to second with a great restart for him. He's going to dive all the way into the slick and try and fight for that lead, but Dylan Settlement, he's been making that cushion work all race long. 10 laps to go. He is going to try and hang on to the high side. One thing to note, your race winner last week as well, Chris Brenner, he is a coming to right now and approaching those leaders right now as Austin Carr tries to hang on to the lead side by side between Settlement and Alex Bergeron.
And you see Bergeron, they call him, his nickname is Burgering up there in VLR, but he's really pulling it off right now. You see him trying to get every bit of momentum he can. Obviously he wasn't listening to the broadcast about taking it easy because he's in that inside position, sitting in third, trying to take that second position away from the number 81 of Dylan Settlement. If he gets around that number 81, I do believe he's going to be able to fight the number 13 of Austin Carr, and he might come out of here with a checkered flag.
Has to time it out perfectly. You see both of them riding along the cushion through 1 and 2 this time. It's 3 wide out behind him. Jamie Martin, I should say, has to now worry about holding on to 4 because Chris Brenner, who started 25th, is right on behind him. It could become a very close battle. It's now a 4-car single file dash battling for the lead right now with Chris Brenner leading the next charge right on behind them. It is currently...
And behind Chris Brenner, there's a battle for that 6th position, side-by-side action with the 28 of Anthony Lepresso and the number 95 of Dakota Con. You see the number 95 get really loose there, and you see another driver, the 27 of Robert Kersetter, getting into some contact with that Durco Media machine of Kevin Lovey.
And in our Durco Media machine, and Austin Carr has 4 laps to get around the racetrack and come away with the victory here in Volusia. He's got Dylan Settlement now right at the back bumper. Dylan Settlement tries to poke his nose underneath the left rear, and he's going to ride along the cushion this time. A bit of a lower line for Austin Carr. He's going to try and slide up and hold on the momentum from Settlement. Settlement really digs it in there as he slides it up. He can't make it stick. Austin Carr moves back up in front. 2-3 laps to go. Make that 2, as this is going to be an intense finish here at Volusia, here for the American Dirt Series. The Durco Medios machine trying to hang on.
He bumps him, he spins him, and you can see Alex Bergeron on the outside line going into the white flag.
My goodness, coming to the white flag, Alex Bergeron. He's going to try and hold on to the high side, and he is going to pull away Austin Carr and Dylan Settlement. They set this up on a platter for Alex Bergeron, who wins it at Volusia.
Alex Bergeron takes the checkered flag, and you see the contact with Austin Carr and Dylan Settlement right there with almost 2 to go, and that set it up, like you said, on a platter for that 112 machine of Alex Bergeron. what a storybook classic ending to this race at Volusia. We've seen hard racing all night long, but I did not expect it to end like this, and wow.
Wow is an understatement. You see the fireworks, you see the nice burnout spinning in circles. He moved his way from a starting position of 8th, and with the perfect timing to take advantage of the mistakes involving the crossovers in front of him, he comes out leading the race at the checkered flag. Just one lap wed for Alex Bergeron. An absolutely phenomenal finish for him, as right now we'll take a quick commercial break as he celebrates in turn number 2. But first, let's take a look at your quick results. Austin Carr finished in second afterwards to Alex Bergeron. Dylan Settleman, Chris Brenner, Jamie Martin round out your top 5. A great run in the first race for Jamie Martin. Anthony Lepresto and Dakota Cullen right now finishing just outside that top 5 with Michael Sheridan, John Lepresto, Michael Rosendahl rounding out your top 10. And then right on behind that, just outside that, Robert Kurtsetter. He's going to lose a bit of point ground. He finished 11th. David Diller right on behind him. And that was about a 5-second difference between 11th and 12th. Kevin Lovey's 13th. Colin Wisely in 14th. Scott Bellum, David Flick, Brad Speidel, Tim Smith, after getting damaged, finished 14 laps down. Cole Newhoffen, 19 laps down. Vince Romeo rounds out your top 20. And just outside the top 20, you see the rest of your grid today. Derek Layden, Steven Renard, Chad Miller, Max Stambrel, Corey Zatinsky round out your 25 cars. And now we go to commercial break here in the American Dirt Series here from Volusia for the sprint cars. We'll take a break. We'll be right back in just a moment here on RaceSpotTV with Stewart interviews after a wild finish to this race.
Crazy control. They're missing each other by an inch, sliding each other. I mean, they know what they're doing, and it's poetry in motion.
There's a fine line between great focus and obsession, and you got to make sure that you're still in the right side of that line where it doesn't start inhibiting your performance when you get here.
You have to know where the edge is, and a lot of times we go over it.
Welcome back, everyone, to Volusia Speedway Park after an exciting conclusion to tonight's feature race for the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars. Alex Bergeron came out on top with Austin Carr and Dylan Settleman with a crossover move that did not pay off, finishing second and third, letting Bergeron zoom by with a lap and a half to 1 lap to go. Chris Brenner charged his way from 25th to go to 4th spot to finish off in the top 5. Jamie Martin rounded out your top 5. Anthony Lepresto, Dakota Cullen, Michael Sheridan, John Lepresto, Michael Rosendahl rounded out your top 10 once again to wrap things up with that. That was a very strong finish, but we got to talk about what just happened at the finish here to set things up with Bergeron for a victory on a platter. Davis, break this down.
All we're going to go to that RaceSpotTV replay right here, and you see we're looking at the number 13 machine of Austin Carr. You see the 81 of Dylan Stillman. He's going to go low into the corner. He's going to try to pull off the slide job. He loses traction. Not going to be able to do to that 13 of Austin Carr. He's able to hold off into that lead. Then you see him here going into 1 and 2. You see number 81 of Dylan Stillman looking high, trying to do everything he can. He's setting up his move right here into 3 and 4. Gets right on his back bumper, gives him a push, and just completely, I'm sorry for the words, but just humps him.
Yeah, just the wrong timing really for that. That opened up the door, as you can see, for Bergeron on the high side. He took advantage. You'll see the view from here as both of them were sideways. Bergeron, if he was about 2 feet to the left, he might have not finished off in the victory lane circle tonight, that's for sure. It took a lot of effort to make sure he timed that out perfectly on the cushion. And congratulations to him, that's for sure. Coming away with a strong victory after getting by, taking advantage of the mistakes here. Why don't we talk to him right now from Victory Lane here at Volusia. Alex, how do you feel with your Victory Lane racing machine?
Well, it was a good one. I mean, tough passing tonight, but we waited for the good opportunity there, and our luck was on our side. The luck was on our side, so it's a good one, but could have won better, but it's a good race.
Talk us through what was going on in your mind coming towards the 4 laps to go moment. What went through your mind when you were riding along the cushion and were able to make the pass with what happened in front of you coming to 1 lap to go?
I seriously don't know there. I think there was just a racing incident there. I don't know what happened, so I just last 4 laps, near the end, was just waiting because basically no pass. I was not able to pass, so the track is quite difficult. So I just stay in my line and be patient, and it paid off.
Yeah, being patient definitely paid off there. Taking advantage of the mistakes that happened coming towards the white flag. That is for sure. Now, I want to ask you this as well, since you are currently you came into the race in the points lead. You're definitely coming out of the race with the points lead. What's your main focus and mindset coming towards the final races of the season here for the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars?
I mean, it's just stay consistent. I mean, that's the key for a championship win, and that's what we're doing right now. So I'm quite happy with the results, and we're just gonna stay that way. Getting good qualifying laps and getting good eats and getting in good position. Like tonight in the dash didn't win our way, so we had to stay patient all race long, so we can be at the top of the podium tonight. So that's what happened. So can be like this. We'll try to be like this every week. So last couple of weeks that left. So yeah, we'll see.
Is there anything else you would like to say that we didn't ask about? Anyone you'd like to thank for this victory tonight?
Yeah, especially Team VLR for an awesome car tonight, and congrats to Dylan for 3rd place. Could have been better, but racing, and all my sponsors, everybody's watching. Yeah, so thank you guys for broadcasting, for American Dirt Series, for putting the league up.
Thank you very much for the time, and congratulations on the victory, Alex. Alex Bergeron coming away with the victory tonight in his Victory Lane Racing Sprint Car machine.
Very excited there indeed. We talked about it earlier. You're going to have a lot of skill, and you're going to have a bit of luck there. And Alex Bergeron definitely had both on his side tonight, coming out there with the race win. But coming in 2nd place, a heartbreaker for sure, is Austin Carr. Hey, Austin, this is Davis Richards up here in the RaceSpotTV booth. Man, heartbreaker for sure out there. We've seen you battling all night long in those top positions, and we thought you had this thing won, but, man, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, it was a good run. Definitely could have won there. But you just get people that get impatient because they can't pass you, so they just drive through you. But it's no biggie. It's a common thing on this game. Dylan Simmelman said that I was mirror driving, but I was running that line the whole race, and then eventually the middle went away. So you can actually see that they have this feature in iRacing where the track actually slicks off and stuff, so you actually have to move up. So I kind of moved up, and he was a little bit faster than me there, but he still couldn't get by me. He tried the slide job, and it was fine. I ducked back underneath him, and it was a good race. Fortunately, he got me there and didn't let off the gas, but we still got second. It's not bad coming in second to Bergeron. It's always good to race up front, and then see him just get it and slip out of my hands, kind of bad, but it was so good.
Yeah, tough racing, battling back and forth indeed. But hey, man, you come out here last week, you won the race at Lanier. Then you come out here, led most of this race here tonight at Volusia, and you finish in second place. So really nothing to hang your head on there. These boys out here know that you can compete, and you've got what it takes to come out here and win a race. So definitely going to be someone to watch as we go further through in this season. And really can't wait to watch you out there next week and trying to gain some redemption there. But really have a great head on your shoulders there, and great to hear that as well. But before we let you go, is there anyone out there you'd like to thank?
I definitely got to thank Michael Rosendahl, Kevin Lovies, Jamie Martin, Troy Wagon, Dakota Kuhn, the master setup guy, Dave Flick. We've been dialing these things in here. It's definitely going good. Got to thank Dirt Coat Media House. Also, Virtual to Reality that runs on Friday night. Also, on Wednesdays now, they're starting a midget league for the Northwest Focus midget deal on Wednesdays, and it's a money race. Everyone should check it out. It's definitely a good thing to get into, and it gives everybody the opportunity to get in real cars. Definitely check it out on Facebook at Virtual to Reality. And Tim Hunt Designs, but that's it, and then especially you guys up in the booth.
All right, well, we appreciate it up here, and like I said, we'll be looking forward to watching your race there. Tough set of luck right there, but we know you'll come back next week, fighting harder and stronger than ever, and we can't wait to watch you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna blow their doors off. They pissed us off.
That was Austin Carr, who came away with a second place finish today. And a good effort for him, coming away with third. Meanwhile, in a close, intense battle with Austin Carr for much of the race, it was Dylan Settleman, who now joins us in the broadcast booth. Dylan, what are your thoughts on what was intense, very close battling between you and the rest of the field for much of the way for that lead?
It was fun at the end. That was 100% my fault. I don't know. I just got in too hot and clipped him and turned him. But we had a good race going there. It was a good run from Austin. Sucks to let it suck to Alex, but it's whatever.
Yeah, to shift away from that right now, of course, in your VLR machine, how was it working with your teammates throughout that, basically, to make sure you're all on the same page, to make sure the people like Howard Weaver, who is basically part of your fan club, were held under control, basically, or part of Austin Settleman's fan club as well. Basically, how was it to try and work with your teammates to try and get the best run possible here tonight, if that makes sense?
Yeah, me and Alex and Cole got a good setup going there, and I don't know, we kind of worked each other with the fuel strategy and, you know, how much gallons it's going to take for each heat and feature, and paid off. And we had a good run there. Alex got first, I got third. I don't know what happened to Cole there, but it was all a good run.
It was definitely a good run for you as well, but right now, as the season gets to its closing stages right now, you're in a pretty decently healthy spot in terms of the standings. What do you feel it's going to take to get to where your teammate and Alex Bergeron is to battle for the championship?
There's no way, honestly, but I'll just keep racing him and having fun, and we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Is there anything else you'd like to say, or anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Team VLR, Dirt Vision, and Dirt Collector for the sponsor, and totally my fault in Austin. Just my bad, and I hope you can accept the apology.
Okay, thank you very much for the time, Dylan. Congratulations on the third place finish. And that was Dylan Settleman. Davis Richards now has your hard charger through the field, who ran his way up through the field, John Lopresto.
Always awesome there to see some sportsmanship out there in this league with them hard-fought driving drivers. Well, I said driving there twice, doesn't really make a lot of sense. But right now we have our Hard Charger Award winner, number 157, John Lopresto, coming from the back. been doing every single thing he can. You had to miss a few hornet's nests and a few wrecks out there, but man, tell us, how did you make that finish and finish in that 6th position?
Yeah, guys, it was pretty tough, actually. I had to miss a few different wrecks, got involved in a couple of wrecks. I actually came and got my car fixed twice, and thought I could get up there in the top 10 and battle for a decent finish, and car just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but enough guys fell out to where I passed a couple cars and got a hard charge.
Awesome job out there nonetheless. And is your brother out there tonight too, or was I seeing double?
Yeah, he was out there. He's up front. I'm usually at the back, so it's not hard to mix us up, really.
Oh, well, I kept confusing y'all between the two, but awesome run out there for you tonight. But out there on those track conditions, how was the track changing, and what were you able to do to really overcome it to get that great finish?
The track was good. It was moving around pretty good. I stayed on the bottom probably too long. Once I started moving around, I could start to pick a couple cars off, but I just couldn't get off the bottom early enough there, and kind of cost me, I think. But yeah, overall, it was a good night. Passed that many cars. I mean, this is a really good field here every week, so to finish there from the starting spot I started in was pretty good.
Yep, and you're still nonetheless, we'll be rooting you out there next week. Awesome finish, but before we let you go, is there anyone out there you want to thank?
Yeah, man, I got to thank my team at UWU Motorsports and Colby's Eye Paints. Without them guys, I would probably not even make the show half these nights. So, and I want to thank American Dirt Series for putting on this league. It's one hell of a league with, I would say, the best competition anywhere. So thanks to them for having us.
All right, well, you heard it there first, guys. Well, we'll look forward to you there. We'll look forward to you racing out there next week, and you're going to be someone to watch as we go forward in this season.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for the show.
And a lot of good words from John Lopresto, coming away with the 9th spot today. As right now joining us, somebody who had to have, pardon me, a provisional to go through the field, starting off in 25th. All the way to 4th spot tonight was Chris Brenner. Chris, how are you feeling about coming away with a top 5 after starting shotgun on the field?
Well, I couldn't be happier with that finish, starting all the way back in 25th. I never expected to make it up this far.
Yeah, right. You definitely charged your way through the hornet's nest, through that hornet's nest like a piece of bread with butter on it. I don't know how to basically put it. But basically, how did you do it to basically make your way through that field, of course, with the provisional, of course, at the back of the field, and keep yourself clean for the entire race?
Well, starting back there, you really have to be mindful of what's going on in front of you. You kind of have to find that balance of, tiptoeing around people and, trying to make some aggressive moves also to get by stuff. But I think a lot of luck is involved with my run getting all the way up here. There's a lot of big wrecks in front of me, and I managed to get lucky getting by them without, too much damage or anything.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of the way I think of it is this. Most of the time it's 50% skill, 50% car. Tonight it was basically 40-40, more like 33-33-33 with skill, car, and luck. Absolute luck for you. Is there anything else you would like to say right now about how you feel, about anyone you would like to thank for your team and that UWU machine after coming away with a strong top 5 after the win last week?
Yeah, thank the broadcast crew. You guys do a phenomenal job at RaceSpot. Justin, Hugo, ADS, Blake, all the guys involved on their end for putting on this league. It's one of the most fun leagues out there. Tons of super fast guys, and we love running against them every week. Teammates at UW Motorsports. I think we had a pretty good, strong showing out of all of us. There was a bunch of us in this thing. Sorry about Tim's luck there. That's a bummer on the points for his end. That should shake things up, and looking forward to going in next week and see what we can do.
Thank you very much for the time.
One more. Sorry, I forgot his name last week. Cameron Colby. Colby's Eye Paints, our new sponsor this year for doing the paint jobs. Thanks again, bud.
Thank you very much for the time, Chris. Pardon me for almost cutting you off for that last moment. And Davis Richards, who's with me in this booth, who you also forgot to thank, but also like to thank you for this interview. Of course, thank you very much for the time, Chris. Of course, we have one last interview. Davis will be the one with them. The newcomer to the field tonight who had a strong run himself, Jamie Martin. Davis?
I think we're going to have one more interview after that too, but first now we're on to Jamie Martin. Awesome run by either man. We talked to you right before the dash, and you said you were one of the newcomers to the field, and you had a strong car out there, and you were just hoping to finish the race and get a good finish, but you did more than that, coming out with a top 5 finish. Man, how did you do it?
I honestly, there at the end, I was kind of hanging on. I just kind of missed it a little bit. I wasn't expecting it to kind of the track to kind of move the way it did, and I was just hanging on. I was just trying to salvage a finish at that point, but luckily all the guys at UDSRA, they give us a really good car every week, and I got to thank Dirtco and V2R for backing us. Like I say, we're just pretty much a new team, and we're just trying to make this. We're trying to just kind of make our presence known here, and I feel like we're starting to slowly but surely do that.
Yeah, well, you definitely made your presence known out there tonight, coming out there with a 5th place finish, man. Just awesome job. I can't speak enough, and we can't wait to watch you out there next week competing with the best of these guys in that number 15 machine. But before I let you go, is there anyone out there you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Michael Rosendahl. He basically manages UDSRA, obviously races. He does a lot for us. Got to thank Dirtco, V2R, Tim Hunt Designs, all those guys. They pitch in and help out, and they support us in every way we can. And like I say, we're just a little small team of friends that have just started, and hopefully there's big things to come here in the near future for us.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be speaking to you more and with some more great top 5 finishes and battling up there for the win tonight. But great job, and we'll see you out there next week, Jamie.
Yeah, I'll definitely be back, and thanks to American Dirt Series and you guys for putting this stuff on. It's really cool for sim racing, by far one of the best leagues I've ever run, so I'll definitely be back.
Great shout out there to the league, and these guys really do a lot, the admins and the sponsors out there. But it's the drivers that make the league and make the excitement, and we've seen that here tonight. And we've got one more driver that wants an interview.
Yes, he's joining the booth right now, Austin Sentelman. Austin, are you there? Austin Sentelman.
Pretty off to start the night, and just lucky to get a good start my heat, and I was key to start up front, and I just followed the 43 car, and he showed me the way and showed me what I was doing wrong, and picked up on that, and just lucky to get out front.
You were kind of breaking up there for a split second, Austin. Can you repeat that? And I'm not exactly sure what exactly you're referring to, no offense.
On to the queue, let's get through turn 3. I kept messing up big time in 3 and 4.
Okay.
Well, we got Austin out there in the booth. Awesome job by him tonight. We've seen with his little brother out there finishing with a 3rd place finish. Like to have some fun up here in the RaceSpotTV booth. But we've seen a lot of great action tonight. Before we let you go, I'm going to give it off to Justin Prince to take y'all home.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for the time, and thank you very much for joining me in the booth tonight, Davis, and what was an entertaining night here on RaceSpotTV. We'd also like to thank the following sponsors for being crucial parts of the American Dirt Series Sprint Cars tonight: Dirtco Media House, Southern Indiana Lawn Care, the Kings of Dirt, CMF Motors Electrics, Down Under Graphics, as well as Shermo Forestry and B-Dirt 1934. They were a big part of this crew, along with Hugo Ruiz and the rest of the RaceSpot crew. Next week, we are going to Knoxville Speedway live once again. Be sure to tune in. That is on March the 12th. Broadcast starts once again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to tune in here on RaceSpotTV. And with that, you guys have a great night across the Sim Racing Nation. I'm Justin Prince for Davis Richards and Hugh Ruiz saying so long, live from Barberville, Florida, and have a great night across the iRacing Nation.